Education.
Brought to you by Darbar Special Jasmine Hair Oil. Make har ek din special.
Namaste and welcome to Life is Beautiful right here only on Kantipur Television. Pravidik Shiksha Rashtra Nirmanko Merudanda मानिन्छ हुन पनि सिप र रोजगारी बिना मुलुकको अर्थतन्त्र सबल हुन सकिँदैन। त्यसै गरेर विश्वका शक्तिशाली र आर्थिक रूपले सम्पन्न देशहरू मध्ये अस्ट्रेलिया पनि अग्रभागमा पर्दछ र अस्ट्रेलियाको विकासमा प्राविधिक शिक्षाले 80% भाग ओगटेको छ भने हाम्रो देश नेपालमा 3% मात्र। आजको मेरो ब्युटिफुल गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ अस्ट्रेलिया सरकारको टेफ नर्थ कोस्टका निर्देशक जेफ बाल्ड्री। For the segment Beautiful People. Okay people, to my immediate right I have one of the educational directors of TAFE Australia North Coast. Your institution enrolls 40,000 students.
That's correct.
And you have 601 courses.
Yep.
Can you explain me what TAFE is all about?
TAFE actually stands for Technical and Further Education, but it's referred to now as Vocational Education. So it's about giving people skills so that they can work in different industries. The best way to describe it is after school and before university, or even if people do not wish to go to university, it allows people to learn skills, trades. So they can learn trades in cookery, plumbing, hairdressing, electrician, accounting, or someone that wanted to be an accountant, or even a vet nurse, or even someone that wanted to work as a farm manager. TAFE has been very successful in Australia, and it is a national government provider of education, and we deliver national qualifications. What Australia has is, it has what they call an Australian qualifications framework. So it offers certificates from 1, 2, 3, 4, and diplomas and advanced diplomas. And people study those programs, and it allows them then to go and work in different areas. It's those sort of programs that we run, yes.
Okay. So most of the highly developed countries have very strong foundation of vocational education.
Yes.
As I understood, 80% of Australian population choose vocational subjects.
Yep.
How does government attract people?
There's a lot of marketing and promotions that are done through the schools. There's a lot of advertising through television that explains what courses that they can do. TAFE is the government provider. There are private colleges as well that also attract students as well that deliver vocational studies. But the government subsidises the learning for students. So there's been a big development trying to encourage not just school students to think about coming to TAFE and doing vocational courses, but also to look at mature people, people that maybe their industry closes down and they need to look for another job. So TAFE has the capacity to retrain. So someone can retrain. I have students that were hairdressers, but for some reason there is no work for them. They're retraining to work in the travel industry. So people move around and can do that. One of the problems that we found over the years in the school system, in the high schools, only about 20% of students really are ready for university. And there's that 80% of students that really need to be studying in another environment. And I think that's where the countries that have strong vocational training programs, especially where they're government funded and government supported, really do well.
What do you think about the opportunity for Nepal to develop its enrollment from 3% to 80%. Looks like it's a great challenge.
Yes, I've only been in Nepal for 5 days, and I've been blessed. It's an amazing place. You have an absolutely wonderful country. The people are absolutely very warm and friendly. It's fantastic. I think one of the things that any country can do that doesn't have a strong vocational system is to really look at the school side as well. What we've done in Australia is we've developed vocational programs that are actually delivered in school in years 10, 11 and 12, or I think you refer to it as class 10, 11 and 12. So what happens is that some of the students that are less academic, instead of dropping out or being absent and losing interest in school, they can learn skills in automotive or hospitality or hairdressing. So they start to do certificate courses, small certificate courses, say level 2. And what happens is that when they finish school, they can use that credit from those certificates and go into TAFE and further their studies to become a skilled person. And I actually think that not knowing the Nepal system that well, that it will be good to look at the school side. I think there's another thing that would be very important for Nepal. And this is what we've done in Australia, is that there are a number of people that have skills but have no pieces of paper, no qualification. We have set up a process of recognition of prior learning. We call it RPL. And what it allows people to do is it allows them to test out or have interviews with teachers, with colleges, to see if they really do have the skills to be given the piece of paper. It may mean that they need to do some study, but not as much as they would of doing the whole program. So I think there are two things there. I do believe that, like in Australia, what's been very successful for us, we're a large country, but we only have 20 million people. We cover a very big area. We need people to have skills that they can move from one side of the country and work in the other. So the qualifications in Australia are national qualifications. There are national standards and there are regulations around the quality and skills of a teacher and the curriculum that can be delivered. So all of that needs to be put in place. My suggestion would be that Nepal looks at a national vocational training system that people can, whether they study in the south or in the north, they can use that qualification and move around. One vital, important thing is that in Australia, those qualifications we say are industry-led. So whatever is going to be developed as a qualification needs to have full support from industry, because it's industry that's going to employ the graduates that come through to college.
Okay, can you tell us about your career background before you took the leadership in educational centre?
Well, that takes me way back. When I was 17, I went to work into hotels. I washed dishes. I left school from class 10, or we say year 10. I washed dishes in different hotels, and slowly I started to get asked to cook for breakfast. This was back in England. I lived in London. Then I moved to Australia when I was 20, and I kept working in the industry, and I started to study at TAFE. And there I formalised my qualifications and became a chef. A few years later, I actually started to teach. I started to teach on a part-time basis for TAFE and studying and teaching students that were in hotel management courses that needed to learn cookery, but also chefs coming through. I was training those as well. I went into full-time teaching in 1986, and I moved into senior management in 1991, and I've been there ever since. So I've seen some interesting changes, and I've seen the vocational system and the role that the government provider, as in TAFE, has played in assisting students and young people and older people in building their careers and becoming more prosperous and sustainable for themselves.
Thank you so much for sharing your views on Life is Beautiful.
Thank you, Prova. It's been a pleasure.
Brought to you by Dabur Special Jasmine Hair Oil. Make har ek din special.